sensitive than the other one. Excuse me. Sorry.
Hello? That's much better.
Much better, right?
Yes.
So I think,
Mom, Mother, I have a question. I don't have to read it.
No, this one up there.
I know.
You
This
stay
is-
up there the whole time, right?
Not here, but when I'm not doing a prayer, I'll start right there. Right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't. When my that thing is annoying. Anyways, when my who is that? What's that, Mom?
you are absolutely right. Sheets and blue paragraphs have to go out. Yes. So, Rachel gets back, we're going to do a little family huddle. Yes, before in the back area over here, including Ian.
Yeah.
He's coming too. All right, Rob, Rachel, we're going to come back, and Elena and Ian, we're going to come back here for a quick huddle. This one? Yeah. This one's okay, but not really great. And this one, which was the one that had been on here, how did it change? If we want to go this way. Testing. Yeah, this is better. Yeah, this is better. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Hello, hello. Kazan? Can you turn, it's got the feedback. Hello, hello. Yep, but turn the one from the center table on a little bit higher if you can. A little higher? Yeah. Elena? Hello, hello, hello. That's better. I think that's better. Elena, can you just come up and do a sound check here? We just turn the Kevin just turn the mics up. If that's better.
Hello? That's better.
Good. We're gonna try to have this as close as
Shalom, welcome.
Much better. Okay. All right. All right. We're good.
reason. It was there yesterday. Yeah, she filled the paper.
Yeah. I might end up switching your mic for her mic.
Yeah, I think that'd be. Yeah, this is really loud. I don't need to switch over.
Yeah, we put this over here. Except
Oh.
there's no stand that extends it for you. Right, ready, Elena? We're gonna get started.
Okay. Already?
Yep.
There's like no one here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. We're so thrilled that you are here as we celebrate Elena being called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah on this, the Shabbat. She becomes bat mitzvah. One of the things that, for those of you who are new to this building, one of the geniuses of Frank Lloyd Wright was the way in which he was aware how we would be sensitive to the light that's going on outside around us. So you're going to feel this room get darker and darker because as the sun sets, the glass that he decided to put in this room will actually have less light. And so more of the light will be coming from what's happening inside the room. So not only the light bulbs and the chandelier, but the warmth and the light that we all feel for Elena and for the Cohan family on this wonderful, wonderful day. So for those of you who haven't been to a Jewish service for Shabbat afternoon and evening, we are using the blue prayer book that you were handed on your way in.
Which one?
And we are starting with the Mincha Service. So if you turn to page 226 of this prayer book, Elena is going to begin the service with the words of Ashrei. Page 226.
Ashrei Yoshevet Techa Adeh Hallelujah Selah Ashrei Yoshevet Techa Adeh Hallelujah Selah
Ashrei Mshkach Elo Hashem Saranai Eloha Malchutecha Malchutecha Shabbat Smecha Melechol Continuing on page 228 of the prayer book, the Chazan will be leading us. Amen. Amen. Yehi Shmer Abba Uvromach Li'olam Omei Almayia. We're going to invite people to rise as we prepare to open the Aron and continue the middle of page 229. to talk. Yitzion tetzeh Torah u'devar Adon. Actually, Yerushalayim
Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch
Shenatan Torah Torah.
Le'amo Yisrael Bigdusha.
We're going to invite you to be seated for just a moment. So, becoming a bat mitzvah at Beth Shalom involves study.
Okay.
So, I had the honor and pleasure of spending many weeks studying with Elena so that we would be in a position to have her do something very important as she becomes bat mitzvah, which is for most of her life. She has been a student, and she has been the recipient of teachings. But as she becomes bat mitzvah, part of what our tradition says is that we think Elena has the ability to be our teacher. And so she has, through her studies and through her understanding and interpretation, she has created what we call a Devar Torah, which is a teaching from the Torah. And so at this time, it's my honor to ask Elena if she will share her words of learning and insight with all of us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Torah portion is Parashat Tzav. It is the second Torah portion in the book of Leviticus. My Torah portion discusses the kinds of sacrifices that our ancestors used to get closer to God. They would bring animal and grain offerings to the Kohanim, the priests, whose role was to offer sacrifices on behalf of the people. Our ancestors believed that the sacrifices, in Hebrew called korbanot, would help them feel closer to God. We learn about 5 different kinds of sacrifices in my Torah portion: a meal offering, a sin offering, a guilt offering, a thanks offering, and an offering of well-being. The idea of our ancestors would go to God when an important event happened in their lives helps me to understand that the sacrifices were used to help our ancestors always be aware that God can be found in all parts of our lives. One thing that is hard for us to understand is why burning up grains or animals would help anyone feel closer to God. Even though this idea seems really hard to understand, I realize that the grains and the animals our ancestors offered were things that were of value to them, things that they needed in order to live. By offering up items that were so valuable, our ancestors showed God that these moments in their lives had great meaning and they wanted to feel close to God when they happened. Today, I am glad that we do not offer animal or grain sacrifices in order to feel close to God, and that we don't need to have special priests make the sacrifices on our behalf. I understand the idea of feeling closer to God through rituals. When I am at Ramah Day Camp in the summer, for instance, I feel close to God during tefillah. My friends are with me, and they are all Jewish, and we are all praying together each day. I feel comfortable praying at camp and enjoy singing with the whole group, from little kids to those of us who are older and on up to the counselors. Recently, I've enjoyed going to synagogue with my dad. It's nice I've learned so many prayers in camp and at Hebrew school, and can sing with him. I'm a much better singer, by the way. I participated in theater for quite a few years, and this year I did it for the first time at my school. I loved singing, acting, and dancing. I even had a solo. I just really loved what I was doing. Sometimes just doing something that you love can help you feel closer to God. The other thing that I really relate to in my Torah portion is the idea of sacrifice. In order to achieve anything important in life, you really have to be willing to make sacrifices or give up things like free time. I know about this through my love of theater. When I'm in a show, I spend a lot of time rehearsing at home and school. That takes away from the time that I would be socializing or having fun because I have to spend what time I have doing work for school. All of the hard work and sacrifice are worth it when it comes time for the show. The entire cast and crew are all sacrificing for something larger than any of us as individuals. And it feels so good when the show is over and we are all able to know that our sacrifice was worth it. I also feel proud of taking on the responsibility for my part, knowing that the rest of the cast and the crew are counting on me. As I get older, I realize that I need to spend more time studying and doing work for school on my own. Sometimes it's not easy and I have to give up time where I could be going places with friends or being someplace that I'd rather be, or doing TikTok. I try to move past my frustration with difficult work and spend the time that I need in order to do well, rather than give up and play on my phone. During the pandemic, I've had to sacrifice doing a lot of the things I love in order to stay safe and healthy and keep my family healthy as well. And with my brother away at college, I have to spend more of my free time helping to take care of my dog Bailey. When she needs to go out, I need to stop what I'm doing and care for her. The process of studying to become a bat mitzvah has also reminded me of the importance of making sacrifices. As I have studied and prepared for this day, I have learned that I have had to make sacrifices in my life by putting time aside to study and learn with the rabbi and cantor. I think that preparing to become a bat mitzvah has helped me to realize that having a Jewish life as I grow into adulthood will take time and effort. I look forward to continuing to learn and to grow so that Judaism can continue to be an important part of my life. I want to thank my mom for always helping me with my homework and getting me through tough times. Thanks, Dad, for being funny and loving and teaching me about the WWE. To my brother for always knowing what to say when I'm upset or having a problem. To my dog Bailey for always being there when I need a laugh. I'm also blessed that my Nana and Pop took care of me when I was little and still watch over me today. To Grandma Jane for always showing your love for me, even though we don't see each other all the time. I have great memories of Papa Walter, who was such a fun and sweet man. I miss him. And to my aunts, uncles, and cousins, you are the best. Of course, I also feel lucky to have such amazing friends in my life. Thank you to everyone who is here today, and also to Rabbi G. King and Cantor Agar for getting me prepared for this day.
Thank you, Elena, for an amazing, wonderful, and really insightful Devar Torah. So we're going to actually help move the table and get ready for the Torah reading. I have a quick question. Okay, so you're having the first. Oh yeah, which means you're gonna be. What? You can keep your mask off because you're reading. It's okay. It's right here. Okay. Cantor's gonna show you where you're starting. Let's take this out of your way.
Find your spot.
All right.
We're gonna open in a second.
Wait past me. So our first aliyah, the first person who is going to be called to both say the blessing before the Torah is read, to read from the Torah, and to say the blessing after the Torah is read is going to be our bat mitzvah, Elena Pearl. So I'm going to call her up for the first aliyah this time. ותגלה ותראה מלכותו עלינו בזמן קרוב, יכון פליטתנו ופליט עמו בית ישראל, לכן לחסד רחמים רצון ונאמר אמן. הכל הבו גודל לאלוהינו תנו כבוד לתורה. תעמוד הבכורה הבת מצווה, אלישבע בת ראובן ורחל, ראשונה ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בגדול kedushato, v'atem havgim pnim Adonai Elohechem, chayim kulchem hayom. And if you take the sheet out that you were handed on your way in, you can follow along as Elena is going to be reading this first aliyah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher b'harbanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
V'yadeber Adonai el Moshe Lemor. Tzav et Aharon ve'et b'nav Lemor. Zo Torah ha'olah hi ha'olah mokda al hamizbeach. Kol halayla ad aboker ve'esh hamizbeach tukad bo bilvash hakohen midovad yimichnesevad yilbash abasaro veherim et hadeshen asher tachol ha'esh et ha'olah hamizbeach v'samu etzel hamizbeach. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher b'charbanu mikol ha'amim natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Now, since Elena has now read from the Torah and been called to the Torah for the first time, we are going to invite you to shower her with candy as we sing Mazel Tov to her. Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Yehelanu. And you can pick it up if you want. Yehelanu, Elechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Elechol Yisrael. You guys can go get the candy if you want. One throw per candy, by the way. Once it's on the floor, no second throws. All right, we'll have some candy cleaner uppers.
Yeah, I got it.
Wow, there's a lot you guys left behind up here on the steps, but okay.
There's one right here.
All right, all right, we're now inviting Elena's uncles Brett and Brad and grandmom Jane to come for this second aliyah. And again, you'll find it on the sheet that you were handed. And we're going to we'll wait a few moments for them to get onto the bima before we continue with the second aliyah. What's your Yaakov Bat? Dina. And your father? Okay. Yaakov Bat Dina Ve'et. Dov Ben Zebha Kohen Ve'et. Chaim Moshe Ben Zebha Kohen. Aliyah Shniyah. Okay, come over next to the cantor, and we're going to invite you guys to come on over here. Are you okay? Can you hold on? You can hold on to the table right here.
Yeah,
That's what we need you to do. Okay. And the cantor's going to show you where we're going to start.
Okay.
Right here. Take this. Okay. Ready. Are you ready? Baruch Hu Adonai Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch.
הדשן אל מחוץ למחנה, אל מקום טהור, והאש על המזבח תוקד בו, לא תכבה, וירא לך הכהן עצים בבוקר, וערך עליך העולה, והקטיר עליך חלבי השלמים, אש תמיד תוקד על המזבח, לא תכבה.
For the third Aliyah, we invite the parents of our Bat Mitzvah, Rachel and Rob, for the third Aliyah. Ya'amdu, Rachel, Bat, Mendel, Beth, Ruben, Ben, Elena Cohan, Beth, Yitzchak, Ben Rachel, Ruben, Shlishi. We're starting verse.
One, two, three. Baruch Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher baruch banu miklal amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
אמן. וזאת תורת המנחה, הקרב אותה בני ההמון לפני אלוהי אל פני המזבח, והרים ממנו בקמוצו מסולת המנחה ומשמנה, ואת כל הלבונה אשר על המנחה, והקטיר המזבח ריח ניחוח, אזכרתה לאדוני, והנותרת ממנה יאכלו אהרון ובניו, מצות תאכל במקום קדוש, בחצר אוהל מועד יאכלוה, לא תאפה חמץ, חלקה נתתי אותם מאישי קודש קודשים, הוא חטאת ובשם, כה זכר בבני אהרון, יכלה חק עולם לדורותיכם, מאישי אדוני, כל אשר יגע בהם יקדש.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. We say Mazel Tov to the family. You can go back to your seats. We're going to ask two family friends, Steve Pilchik and Dr. Robert Goldman, to come forward at this time. They will be given the honor of both lifting and dressing the Torah. We're going to invite those who are able to stand to do so as the Torah will be lifted at this time. Let's move the stool.
Oh, this.
Steve, are you lifting or just, okay? All right. So yeah, pull down the right? V'zot HaTorah, v'zot HaTorah, asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael, just a moment. Elena, we have a couple of people who are going to have some words to say to you. So if you would come up and stand next to me. First, I want to present some gifts to you from Beth Shalom congregation. First of all, this is your membership in USY. So you are now. Well, we'll have to make sure we fix that. Okay. All right. We'll make sure we take care of that. Okay. So we have Elena is going to be a member of our USY, our youth group next year, and we're really looking forward to you taking part in all of their activities. We have another gift for you from our religious school, from the Miriam Sharon Norris Memorial Garden, which means that in the state of Israel there is a tree that has been planted in your honor, and we hope that you will be able one day very soon to go visit Israel and see all of the trees that have been planted and maybe find your special tree. We also have, from the sisterhood of our congregation, a Tanakh, so that you'll always have the words of our Jewish tradition very close by. And finally, from our men's club, but you can't hold all these things, you can put them on the table, it's okay. This is the last gift. This is a Kiddish Cup, and we hope that you will have many, many opportunities to use that Kiddish Cup to help bring in Shabbat and festivals with your family. So those are just some gifts from the congregation. We all want you to know how proud we are of you. So I want to just begin saying a few words about you, and then your parents are going to come up. First, I want to say that your parashah this week, which you studied and taught us so beautifully, starts out with the word sav. That's the name of the Torah portion, and sav comes from the same root as bat mitzvah. Mitzvah and sav are the same root, and this is your Torah portion opens with Moses, through God, commanding Aaron to do these rituals as a priest. And one of the things that it says right afterwards is that part of what Aaron's job is to keep a fire burning on the altar. It's supposed to burn day and night, and his job is to make sure that fire doesn't go out. And part of what we celebrate about you becoming a bat mitzvah is that there's a fire, there's a spark of the Jewish people that's been part of us since all the way back to Abraham and Sarah. And that spark is something that we hope continues to burn inside of you, because part of what your parents are giving you today is they're giving you this gift of this spark, this fire of what it means to be part of a wonderful people and a wonderful community, the Jewish people, which goes back thousands of years. But it's up to you, just like it was up to Aaron, to tend the fire so that that love of being Jewish will be something that you'll be able to have as an adult, and you'll be able to pass on through your family. So that's our prayer and our gift for you, that you'll take the spark, just like Aaron did, and keep the flame burning. But one of the things I want to say about you is that you did such a wonderful job giving your Devar Torah and chanting Torah for us, because you're an actor. You love theater, and you are really comfortable speaking and being in front of people, and one day you might want to do that for your living, to be able to give people the gift of seeing someone perform and take on roles and make characters come alive. And you have that ability and comfort being in front of people that we all really sensed as you were teaching us and leading us today. We know that, as you said, you love your Ramah connection, and you are someone who actually is a person who has real principles and stands up for what she believes is right. And you've been doing some incredible work on your school's anti-bullying task force, and you're committed to making the places that you're a part of be better places, so that all people who take part and all students feel safe and feel like they are valued for who they are and don't have to worry about being bullied. And we hope and pray that you will always be a person who stands up and does what's right, as you do even in middle school. I want to just end by offering you a blessing that you continue to have and grow the beautiful characteristics that you already have. Your resilience, your sense of humor and having fun, your incredibly positive energy, your love of your dog, your love of Bailey, and your ability to think about all kinds of new possibilities and of making a difference. Those are things that you already do now. And we pray that you will just continue to have those gifts and those loves and those commitments throughout your adult life. So it's my honor to wish you Mazal Tov and to ask your parents, Rob and Rachel, to come up and to offer you some words of blessing at this time. Do you have your talk? It must be where Rachel's was. Elena's was. What did we do a copy after? Oh, here it is. Here it is, sorry. There we go, sorry. I took the parents' talk accidentally, my apologies.
Okay. Bear with me. I'm not as good as my daughter in front of people, but here it goes. Elena, this glorious Bat Mitzvah day is finally here. Your mom and I, as well as everybody here, are so proud of you. We are so proud of the first 13 years and almost 2 months of your life. You are funny and sarcastic and good looking, like your dad. You are smart and pretty like your mom. Never stop laughing together with Ian, which is music to our ears. Never stop being passionate about chasing your dream of being an actress. The name of the parsha you read today is Vayikra, which means sacrifice. The meaning of sacrifice is giving up something of value to show commitment. You will learn as you grow up the importance of the meaning of sacrifice when it comes to family and friends. Next Shabbos, which is Saturday morning, March 19th, will be 5 years since Papa Walter died. I know he is watching you from heaven and taking great pride, and so are the grandparents here, your Grandma Jane, your Nana, and your Poppy. Elena, may you be blessed with wisdom, happiness, peace, and the strength to get yourself out of bed in less than 30 minutes each school morning. We love you.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov. All right, we're gonna let Rob and Rachel go back to their seats, and we're gonna now invite Martin and Marcia Kosman to come and open the Ark as we prepare now to return the Sefer Torah back into the Aron. If you're able to rise, we invite you to do so. The service continues on page 232 of your prayer book. Page 232. Continuing in the bottom of the page, Eitz Chaim P. page 234b of, actually we're going to consider page 233, the Chatzki Kaddish, and that will be followed by the Amidah, which begins in page 234b.
התקדש והתקדש שמי רבה, ביעלמד ורקדים לקבותי, בחייכון וכל נכדות בית ישראל, בגלי זכרי במרו אמן. שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ותרומם ותנשא ויתהדר ותהלל שמי דקודשה. בריחו להם וכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן ביעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
We face the ark as we continue, page 234b.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא העליון גומל חסדים טובים וקולע הכל וזוכר כזה יעבוד ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ופוקד מושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה אתה גיבור לעם אדוני בחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך דופים ברופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר מלחמות אבל גבורות ומדום אליו מלך בבית ומקיים ומצליח ישועה ונאמת לך חיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי
Page
המתים
235, Mekadesh et Shimcha b'Olam Kishem Shemakdishim Oto B'Shmei Maraham Kakatuv ad Nevi'echa V'kara Zeh El Zeh V'Yamar.
נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום כתוב על יד נביא וקרא זה לזה ואמר
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzibaot, Melech Kol Haaretz Kivodam.
קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו לעומתם ברוך יאמרו
Baruch Kibar Adonai Mimekomo.
ברוך אדוני ממקומו ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור
Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohai Xion L'dor Vador. Hallelujah.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור הללויה לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים כשלך נקדיש ושבחך להפיל ולמושלם ועד כמלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We'll continue now privately, pages 236 through 239. Please feel free to be seated when you have come to the end of your prayer. Those of you who are still praying, please continue. Those of you who have concluded, Elena is going to lead us along with the Chazan in Oseh Shalom on page 239 of your prayer book.
Oseh Shalom Bimrama, Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Le'akol Yisrael, Ne'imru, Vimru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Le'akol Yisrael. Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, B'achol Yisrael.
Amen. The service will continue now, page 247 of your prayer book, Kiddish Cup.
Yikav Shemei Rabah.
Amen.
Be'almado Kevonim Voltei B'chai Kol Chelet Beit Israel V'Gala Izman Kari V'Maru. Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach, Le'olam Le'omeh Hamayim, Yivarach. Berichu. Amen. 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 We want to invite Elena's aunts Terry and Sharon to come right now to the Bima to open the ark once again, as the service will continue on page 248 of your prayer book.
Okay.
And we'll invite again those of you who are able to stand to do so as the ark will be opened.
Elenu l'shabel le'adon hakol, Gedula le'otzer brishit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratot, v'lo samanu mishpechot hadama, shelo samkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu hechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim yumishavim yumodim lifnei melech melechei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Enemar v'yara Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yehad u'shemo echad.
Those who are in the process of mourning or observing a yard site will remain standing. Those, the rest of you, are seated as a congregation. We extend our condolences to Cheryl Pilchik, who's here this Shabbat on the passing of her father, Henry Harrod, Zichrono Livracha, also husband of Shelley and father of Michael. And we ask all who are in mourning right now or observing a yard site to join with me in the mourner's cottage to conclude the Mincha Service, page 249. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Yalmad divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon. B'chayei d'chol Beit Israel. B'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'it Adar, V'it Alev, V'it Alal, Shemei Dekudesha Berechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. We ask God who brings peace and comfort on high, to bring peace and comfort to those of you who are remembering your loved ones. So we have just now essentially concluded the final service of Shabbat. You can see that by the light we are getting close to the evening. It's gotten much darker in this room. So we are now going to continue with the Ma'ariv service, the evening service. It's a bit more of a brief service than the Mincha service that we just did. And then we will conclude with the Havdalah service, in which we separate from Shabbat and begin the week that will now be starting with the end of Shabbat. But for now, let's turn to page 281 in our prayer book as the cantor begins with V'hu Rachum. We invite you to rise again if you are able as we prepare for Baruch Hu, page 281 of your prayer book. Here's the arm.
Right now?
Now you're leading Baruch Hu right now. Baruch Haran Barach Le'olam Va'ed. Great job. You may be seated. We continue page 281. Page 282, Elena is leading us in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shavtecha u'kumecha, shotam le'yod avodecha, nechoyu netzon v'neinecha, u'tartam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'yisharecha.
Continue privately through the bottom of page 282. Continuing now, page 283 of your prayer book.
ומלכותו ברצון תמדו עליהם משה ויסתכלו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך בעלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה חלק מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה אלי אנו ויאמרו אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כדת יעקב גלו מתחזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Turn ahead with us to page 284. We continue with Hashkivenu, asking God to save us from all that could afflict us.
Hashkivenu Shalom. ושמור צאתם מלכנו משלום יתה ויד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני שומר עמו ישראל לעד. ברוך אתה בציון שכן ירושלים הללויה ברוך אתה אלוהים אלוהים ישראל לא לעם ביד ביד הושיע נתנו אלוהינו ברוך תהילתך ברוך אתה כי המלכות שלך היא ולעולמי עד תמלוך בכבוד כי אילן מלך אלתה ברוך אתה אדוני המלך בכבודו תמלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ועל כל מעשיו.
Amen. If you're able to rise, the cantor continues the Chatzi Kaddish followed by the Amidah, which will be done privately for this evening service beginning on page 286b and continuing through page 291.
התקדש והתקדש שמי רבה ביעלמה דברה כתב וכותב בחיי כל וכל חיי כל בית ישראל בגלה נשמעתי ויאמרו אמן שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי המאיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ותרמה ותנשא והתהדרת את הלל שמי דקודשה ברכו לילה וברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה תמירן ביעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
We continue now privately with the Amidah. are still davening, please continue to do so. We invite you to continue now with us as we continue with Kiddish Shalom on page 294 of your prayer book. Kiddish Shalom.
יתקדל בקדש שמי רבה, ביעלמד גרתיותיו וחוטי בחיי כל ומקודמי כל בית ישראל, פגלה זנגרי ומרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי אמן. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ותרומם ותנשא, ויתהדר ותהלל לשמי דקודשה. בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושפיקתה ונקמתה, תמירם בלמה ומרו אמן. תתקבל צדקון ובאותכון דכל ישראל גמון דשמי ומרו אמן. יהי שלום רב משמיים וחמדנו כל ישראל ומרו אמן. עושה שלום מברומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו כל מול ישראל ומרו אמן.
If we're able to remain standing, we invite you to do so. Elena is on page 297.
נעקוד לתת גדולה לעוצר פרישית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם פלטנו כהן, וגור עלינו ככל העמונה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום שמיים וסף. ככתוב בתורתך נעים הולך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני לנהלך לכל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Once again, we invite those of you who are in the process of mourning or observing the yahrzeit to remain standing. Others may be seated as we continue now with Mourner's Kaddish, page 298. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah.
Amen.
Yalmad divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. B'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabah mevorach v'olam omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata d'amiran v'yalma v'yimru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen.
So we have just now concluded the evening service. We're going to ask Elena if she's would come back up. We now have just the Havdalah service, which is a beautiful, beautiful service that allows us to do a couple of blessings. We're going to have this multi-wick candle that's going to be lit in just a moment. We're going to say the blessing over the grape juice, the blessing over the candle, and then you've been given some spices to smell. There's a kind of sweetness that we have during the time of Shabbat, and the spices are supposed to remind us that even as we're leaving Shabbat, the sweetness of Shabbat will return next week as well. So we are going to begin Havdalah with Hine Matov, and then we'll do Eliyahu Hanavi, and then we'll do Havdalah itself.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים
ceremony. We're going to continue now with Eliyahu Hanavi. The prophet Elijah comes to bring us to a time of redemption, which we'll do before we begin the Havdalah service.
Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimhera v'yameinu, v'yahavo Eleinu, Imashiach ben David, Imashiach ben David. Lai 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 la 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 la
To everyone and a good week. For those of you for whom the party is happening, it's going to be in the other side of the building in the Fishman Auditorium. We say Mazal Tov to Elena, to the Cohans, and to your entire family and friends, and wish you all a good, safe, and healthy week. Okay? Here, we'll put that inside. Great. Kazan, the Cohens would like to do a few pictures now that Shabbat is over. Here with a couple with us. Yeah? Who's taking? Okay. Great. Do you want us to keep our taluses on, or do you want to have us take them off?
Can I take it off?
this out of the way so it won't be in the pictures. Let's move the mics out of the way, I think.
I'm sorry that I left my phone. Hi.
All right.
Just do you want to learn with them first?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, and Shabbat Shalom. And Shabbat Shalom. Have a great party. Thanks for
No, we're just gonna do family.
See all of you. Around talk.
In the middle.
Here, wait, let me go down.